that, na? Why he is getting confused? What's wrong? So, any one of you, if you can share something, why you feel, what's your understanding?
Maybe
Yeah.
the fact.
Huh?
So, I feel 2 weeks class is not there. I finished reading 2 weeks before. After that, I didn't look into that. But whatever I understood, I will share.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Actually, 4th chapter, Krishna gives knowledge, transcendental knowledge, right?
Right.
So Arjuna thought, okay, we don't need to work with knowledge. We can do like this. So why we have to work like this? He feels. So we don't need. So he doesn't want to fight. So that's what he is telling. Without fighting, only he can go for sannyasa and attain Krishna. Like this, he may be thinking like this, I guess.
And that, where is that shloka? Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't read this week. I'm so sorry.
No, it's no problem. Arjuna vacha sannyasam karmanam Krishna. Punar yogam cha samshashi. Okay, once you say sannyas, one you so you say what? Let's say out of this, which is better? Tell me one, right? Shreya is more beneficial, right? So he's talking about two things: sannyasa karmanam, renunciation of karma, right? And punar yogam. Then he's again talking about yogam means karma yoga, right? Devotional service or karma yoga. Right? So we have one point he mentioned. His understanding is like that. And what Atma everything?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. So, actually, sequentially, if we see, Krishna is first telling him like people who are not very spiritually mature, they should perform their karma, like whichever embodiment they have, whichever situation they are born into, riti rivaj. He says that they should follow that, and by following that, they will get into reactions. Like since they are doing reaction based activities, they will get the reaction and they will continue to be here. So from that, he says, like, if we don't perform any actions, that is also not good. We have to perform actions, but we have to give up the reactions. So Arjuna is in one way he is worried about what will happen to, like, he is currently thinking in his embodiment, like okay, my so and so, my guru, my so he was thinking in terms of the embodiment. And Krishna was telling him, like, this embodiment doesn't matter because nothing is going to happen to the soul. And he also tells him, like, see, whatever it is, you have to do it, but since you're doing as per not for your own and you're giving up the reaction, you will not be bound by it. But since you're situated in such a position, you have to do your work. And if we do not want the fruits, we don't even have to do something, right? Like, that's what sannyas is all about, like, where you renounce this material creation or this situation, and you step away from it. So he is little confused with what to do with the knowledge, I feel, Prabhuji. Like, the knowledge has become a burden, I feel like that.
Right. Because there is reference of these two verses, right? 4.41 and 4.42, that their instructions are contradictory, right? This is one is the stand and fight. So Krishna is talking about action, right? In 42.
Yes, Prabhuji.
About action. And in 41, he talks about renouncing the fruits of action, right?
Yes.
And your doubts should be removed, because Arjuna is in doubt, right? I should fight or not fight. And so he decides not to fight. So he says, like, with this knowledge, you destroy your doubts about not fighting, right? So he's trying to avoid the action. Yeah? And Krishna is saying, no, we have to do the action. But at the same time, Krishna is saying, if you have proper knowledge, right, then you, even if you act, there is no problem. Even if you don't act, no problem, because you have proper knowledge, right? One who acts in devotional service, renouncing the fruit, so he acting, right? So, and whose doubts have been destroyed. So, and here it is clearly that you stand and fight. And here Krishna says, no, with knowledge, you can gain whatever is required, right? So Arjuna is thinking, maybe this is my interpretation. Arjuna is, from Arjuna's point of view, if you have transcendental knowledge, okay, then you don't have to act. Okay. So when I was checking this again, like if this understanding actually works or not, right? So in, say, Arjuna, this is Srila Prabhupada's purport. Okay, we can see the purport. See here, Arjuna understands that renunciation in knowledge, okay, involves cessation of all work performed for sense activities, right? So, renunciation in knowledge, right? Krishna is saying renunciation in knowledge, right? You have knowledge, then renounce the fruits of the action. But Krishna is not saying that you stop the action, right? But Arjuna is thinking that he is saying stop the action that you are doing with your senses, right? This is what Srila Prabhupada's line, right? You can comment, right? Arjuna understands that renunciation in knowledge, right? So it's renunciation in knowledge means understanding our true identity and renouncing the fruits. So, but doing the action involves, Arjuna think, involves cessation of all kinds of work performed as sense activity. So, for example, fighting for him, right? Kshatriya, so fight. So he is thinking that he has to stop fighting. That is good, right? But if one performs work in devotional service, then how work is stopped, right? So in other words, he thinks that sannyas or renunciation in knowledge should be altogether free from all kinds of activity. So this is Arjuna's understanding that you don't have to work, right? That is what Arjuna is thinking, that if you have proper transcendental knowledge, you can achieve the highest goal. So you don't have to act. You don't have to act anything. Okay.
Prabhuji, can I ask a question here? Sorry to interrupt.
Right, no problem. Go ahead.
If we see this as a materialistic way, in the sense between Duryodhana and Arjuna, I'm like in that situation itself, Duryodhana has the desire to rule, and Yudhishthir has the right to rule, but unlawfully he was sent away, and
Right.
they grabbed the kingdom from him. But if Arjuna doesn't want to fight, I mean, if they can also like give up, right, Prabhuji? Like they can renounce the thing, and they can lead normal lives. If someone like in their family has a desire, morally they can renounce, right, Prabhuji? In the sense,
Logically, this question comes, right? Like if they are devotees, Krishna's devotees, then why devotees should go behind this position and this kingdom, right?
yes, Prabhuji.
They should have given up this desire, right? But Krishna is saying that it is not about desire, right? It's not about the desire or anything. It's about dharma, right? What is correct? So Krishna wants to establish dharma, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So he wants to remove adharma. So Duryodhana, as per dharma, the kingdom belongs to Yudhishthira, right? But he is trying to take the kingdom which is Yudhishthira's kingdom. So that is adharma, right? And for that, he is doing adharmic activities also, right? To kill Pandavas or whatever did with Draupadi, right? So this is adharmic activities. So Krishna want to stop that, right? So Krishna is saying it's not only, that's why the first verse is Dharma Kshetre Kurukshetre, right? So Dharma Kshetra, right? So it's a war for Dharma. Right? So there is no, how to say, no question of their personal desire or personal renunciation of the desire or their personal wish or ideal wish, right? That okay, why they have to fight? They are devotees, they can live in forest also and chant, right? Why? So, but Krishna is saying no, it's not about that. So they have to fight, right? So, right, that's why they have to fight, and so he cannot renounce. So Arjuna cannot renounce, right? He cannot say, I will not fight. He has to fight, Krishna is saying. That's why he's explaining everything, right?
Yes, Prabhu. And still, he is till now not inclined to fight, right,
No,
Prabhu?
no,
That's why he's
no,
still asking questions. He's still,
yeah,
uh,
he's not. He's still into same state, right? That's why he's getting confused, right? So, because see, Krishna has not said that you stop working. After knowledge also, he's saying you do devotional service, right?
yes, Prabhu.
Krishna's saying that, but Arjuna is understanding wrongly from his perspective. Oh, so I don't, if I have knowledge, I can attain everything, so I don't have to fight. So he's justifying his own action. Am I correct? Like my what I'm talking makes sense or no?
Yes, Prabhu. It absolutely makes sense. It makes sense, Prabhuji.
Because
But
Arjuna is looking from his angle
hmm,
to justify his behavior of not fighting. Right?
yes, Prabhuji.
So from in 41, he thought, okay, this is a correct point. Okay, I have knowledge, I will not fight. So I am correct. But in 42, again Krishna says stand and fight, right?
Yes, Prabhu.
So that is the problem, right? Then so Arjuna gets confused, like Tishto Bharata. So then Arjuna says, like, okay, you said knowledge is fine, so I was fine, right? But next words you say no, you have to get out and get fight. So how come both the instructions, right? So, but actually, in the neutral point of view, if you see the 41st verse, Krishna is saying acting devotional service, and Arjuna don't want to act, basically. Right?
Hmm, hmm.
So he says, first you ask me to renounce the work. Okay. But Krishna has not said renounce the work. Krishna is saying work in devotional service, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Renounce the fruits. But he took it from his own angle, right? And he's saying, okay, this is I think confusing. Then again you recommend to work. Now can you tell me which one is more beneficial? So this is my analysis of these words, like why Arjuna got confused and asked this question. Because he's thinking from his own perspective and he's trying to justify his own stance of not fighting. So when I was reading, I read this couple of times and then I found this sentence that Srila Prabhupada also write the same. This word is important, a cessation of all kind of work performed as sense activity. So fighting, bow and arrow, all is sense activities, right? So this is Arjuna's understanding, which is not correct, right?
So, Prabhuji, the doubt here is if he wanted to fight for Yudhishthir and he himself thought the victory is by him, then it is sense activity, Prabhuji.
Come again, come again. He wanted to fight.
No, if Arjuna did not have this confusion,
Uh,
but he still went and fought the war,
uh,
but and if he claims credit for the victory, then that is sense activity, Prabhuji.
yeah.
Okay.
So that's why the Sanjay's last statement is there, right? So whatever Arjuna does is a different thing, but Sanjay is saying wherever there is Arjuna and Krishna, there will be victory always, and there will be love. Everything will be there, right? Shri, Yash, Sampatti, everything. So Sanjay confirms that, right? So credit will be both. Right? It will be if Arjuna is there and Krishna is there, then it will happen. If only Arjuna is there, not happen, right?
And one last question before we proceed. Sorry to ask too many
No,
questions, Prabhuji.
no problem.
Actually, if we think about it, Arjuna is acting in sattva mode, like he is being a good human being. He doesn't want to like have to fight or like cause the like end of someone. So he is trying to act in sattva guna. So mostly when we think of karma yoga, like people coming into religion as it is, if we see religion as a whole, it is about making the mass of people go in some proper way, I can say, like don't harm others. Like that's the underlying thing of sattva guna, right, Prabhuji? Like, but when we say transcendental knowledge, it transcends even sattva guna. That is
Yes, yes.
so usually this renunciation of fruits is for things within the sattva guna, but we are not supposed to think of the fruits, but we are just supposed to act in the sattva mode, Prabhuji. Does that what it means?
No, we want to keep ourselves in the sattva guna maximum, so we get the knowledge. We are in ignorance basically, because
Hmm.
once you go to passion and ignorance, then we will be covered, right? So because by sattva guna knowledge comes, right? Real
Yes, Prabhuji.
knowledge. And from knowledge, actually, we detach from the sattva guna, right? We go beyond the sattva guna. So knowledge is required, correct?
Hmm.
So sattva guna, actually, we should not focus on being in sattva guna, but sattva guna is beneficial for bhakti than rajoguna and tamoguna, right? So we prefer sattva guna. Try to be in
Understood,
sattva
Prabhuji.
guna at least. But actually, our purpose is not sattva guna, right? We have to go beyond sattva guna. So Krishna said in the last chapter, right? Once you get the transcendental knowledge, what you have to do? Finish all your doubts and you fight. So you do the devotional service. So because Krishna said, like those who have renounced the fruits, for them karma and akarma is same. Even if they do akarma, it's not, there is no reaction, right? So it's as good as sannyas, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
That way.
So here he is trying to transcend sattva. Is my understanding correct, Prabhuji? Like Krishna is trying to make Arjuna transcend sattva guna. Or
Yeah, so he's slowly taking discussion. Now till he was talking to on karma yoga, right? But now he's taking the discussion further, right? So he's trying to take Arjuna towards soul, super soul, and then Krishna himself, right? So, and he's trying to elevate our consciousness, including Arjuna, right?
yes,
That
Prabhuji.
so that's actually right. You are correct. It's going beyond the sattva guna. Try to transcend the sattva guna and go to the bhakti. That is what he's trying to do slowly.
Understood, Prabhuji. So the duties they come like whether they are in whatever like if they are not in bhakti, they will fall under the three modes. But once we transcend, they are free from the modes. Is my understanding correct, Prabhuji? Like whatever
Yes,
action it may be.
yes. So this line is the when you do you for something for you, it's in karma, it's in gunas, right? And if you do something for yourself, that is in gunas, right? But after doing karma, you can enjoy something for yourself, but you give it up. You don't enjoy. But you do something for Krishna, then you transcend the gunas that way.
Understood, Prabhuji. Actually, I understand this concept from Arjuna's point of view, but
Mhm.
for us, like it's a little bit tricky, Prabhuji. As in, we are we are doing things in sattva right now. I mean, like if we renounce, like whatever happens, we also have material desires. I won't say, Prabhuji. Like from whatever we are doing now, if we go the next step, does it classify under desire,
Mhm.
or does it go like in bhakti? That's a little bit confusing, a little bit, Prabhuji. Like for
Yeah,
Arjuna, it's clear. He
so
is.
see, karma, if you talk, we talk on the level of karma, right?
Mhm.
Then it's totally different, right? Because we don't have to talk at the level of karma. So karma we have to do anyway. Right?
Hmm.
We are doing and we'll keep doing, right?
Yes,
But
Prabhuji.
along with that, we have to do the activities of bhakti, devotional service. Then it is connected to bhakti. Otherwise, it will be karma.
Understood, Prabhuji.
Right? So we have to increase the devotional aspect of our. So karma will go on. Karma will go on. We don't have to, because Krishna said. That's why Krishna said, "Gahana karma no gati." It's very difficult to understand karma, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So we cannot understand. So better we focus on devotional service that way. Right?
Understood, Prabhuji.
Now this I was checking Chandrayaan. Watch live coverage. Chandrayaan lander begins power descent to moon. You want to see this or not interested?
Your choice, Prabhuji.
Huh?
Your choice, Prabhuji.
Yes or no? This is some historic event, right? चालू है बघ. We'll see for 5 minutes, okay?
Sure, Prabhuji.
नाही start. Vikram lander gets closer and closer to moon. Lander is forward and control descent phase. Okay. Then here is the live video. This some count, huh? It is news, huh? It to 5 kilometers. Kilometer. Fine breaking. Much tension. From 3 kilometers from the tension, huh? Oh. 3 kilometer only.
There's already possible.
Fairly late. Oh, 0.9.
1.5 minutes actually.
Now it's almost reaching.
Excuse me.
No, Mataji, not yet.
Going good.
I think the child is good.
चांगलं आहे ना.
Putting that one. Anything happened, right? Anything will happen, right? Like
It has to land. That's the purpose.
it can happen also, right?
Yeah.
Means anything can happen and
Why improvement? You have to
right now.
Happy.
I think so. Getting
Very close. Boost. Finish with this.
really good.
Please don't doubt and do all these things. You are otherwise don't watch. Retarget. What is retarget?
Mira.
It's 70 meter. Almost. With the descent. To yeah, 57.
One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Problem. Problem.
No, no. much hard work, no?
South Pole. Near movement.
Hmm?
On movement, near
I mean,
on South Pole. On moon.
on the moon.
नहीं,
Four on the moon.
नहीं, next week again. Near South Pole. Land
Near moon's south pole. तो देखो मैं
lunar South Pole.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Hare
I want to see that actually because I thought this will be once in a lifetime
Yes, Prabhuji,
opportunity
definitely.
to see the live. So okay. So I hope this first verse is clear now, right?
Yes, Prabhuji, clear, Prabhuji.
Yeah, because I wanted to discuss that because then afterwards is Krishna starts answering, right? And he tries to tell Arjuna that your question itself is wrong because the goal of both is same, right? Jnana and Karma Yoga, Nishkam Karma Yoga. Ultimately, the path may be different, but ultimately they are going to reach to the same goal, right? The soul of the universe, like that is Vishnu, right? So that's what that's where he takes the discussion in this chapter, right? To much deeper level of understanding. So in the third chapter of also Karma Yoga, right? And this also we say Karma Yoga. In between it is GAM, right? Transcendental knowledge. So like seventh and ninth chapter also look very similar. But the discussion, the way Krishna takes the discussion, it goes to much deeper level of understanding. And it means deeper means what I mean is much internal, like not just body and renunciation and all these things. He takes the discussion to soul, and then in fifth chapter he takes discussion after soul he takes to super soul, and then he goes to Ashtanga Yoga and Bhakti Yoga. He touch up all the points, right? So that's much higher level of understanding and realizations Krishna is talking about, right? So I think from 5.2 onwards, Krishna starts answering and he tells like, okay, renunciation is good, uh, it's good, both are good, Karma Yoga is good, but he's recommending me to do the Karma Yoga. The reason is like, as soul's natural tendency is to act. And if you try to stop the action, it's very difficult. Like just renouncing everything and sitting down by sannyas, it's not possible, right? You may get bewildered, right? And we have many examples like Vishwamitra and others, right? Who got bewildered just renouncing, not doing anything. So Krishna is saying, no, don't do that. You act. So you do karma yoga. So that's how he tries to take the discussion forward, right? And then 5.3, he mentions like you understand your relationship with Krishna, right? By Sankhya, right? So I have this simple definitions, right? Like Sankhya, what Krishna explained in the second chapter is analytical study, right? Material world and body and soul, right? And then once you start analyzing all these things that this world is temporary, this body is temporary, but soul is eternal, then we start detachment from the material world. Automatically starts, right? By this Jnana Yoga. So this terminologies maybe look different, but in the essence behind this terminology is same, right? And such knowledge ultimately leads one to find Krishna, right? So because once you start understanding that this material world is temporary and there's nothing going to remain, then you try to find out higher things, right? And that's how you go into higher realizations, right? So by jnana, you go to higher realization. That's why you have to do the purity of the heart, right? So that you get the knowledge. So if you see in 5.3 and 5.4, Krishna is stressing this point, right? By Sankhya, you actually understand your purpose and what is your constitutional position, right? What we say, like I am part of Krishna, but to realize that also you need knowledge. So by knowledge and by karma yoga, you reach the same goal. What is that? That is like I was saying, like it's the soul or it's the soul of the universe, like super soul, supreme soul. What how you say supreme Brahman, right? That's Vishnu. So then 5.6 and 7, Krishna tells like 5.6, he tells like you have to act, right? So difficult to maintain the purity of heart. And if you lose the purity of the heart, then your knowledge is gone. Then you fall into ignorance, right? So that is dangerous, right? So sannyas will not work. So better you have knowledge and you engage in devotional service, then there is much better and faster chance of getting the goal, right? That's what Krishna is recommending. So if you have proper knowledge, transcendental knowledge, and you act, then that's the best combination. So then he says, like, what happens like with this? When you have proper knowledge and you do devotional service, then your mind, intelligence, and senses, they are all in control. And then you become a person or a devotee with whom everybody wants to stay, with whom everybody wants to associate. So that is, he tells you in 5.7, that what is the effect of this understanding and engaging, right? Doing the action is saying, do the action, right? And then 5.8 and 9, actually 5.7, he takes like, even if when your mind senses everything is controlled, so even if you do all the activities, you are not entangled in the karmic reaction, right? So you are free, almost free. You are acting in this world, but you are free. So how it happens? Then it tells in 8 and 9 that the person who has proper knowledge, he understands that he's not doing anything, like all the activities done by the body, right? Eating, sleeping, everything is actually he is not doing. He means who? Soul, right? He's not doing that activity. It is all done by the material modes and the senses and our desires, right? So he's aloof. He is not touched by all these things. So he understands that though my body is working, but I am not doing that. So this is very not difficult, very challenging and very difficult to understand the separation of soul and body, right? Because we are so much entangled in the body that we don't recognize that I am something different, because we are identifying so much with the body for not this life, but for so many lives, right? So it becomes difficult, right? So how means if somebody asks me, like, do you realize that you are a soul? No, it's not so easy. Yeah, but when you do devotional service, what happens is Krishna gives some higher understanding, some higher experiences of higher consciousness. By that, we get faith and conviction. Yes, there is something much higher. And then we start to look at these activities of body to be not our natural thing. Sometimes, like, so we have to experience this basically. For that, we have to do very sincerely do the devotional service. Like when I say devotional service is like chanting, reading, we have to be very mindful of what we are doing and do that activities. Then we get those experiences actually, and that only Krishna gives, right? So this is just one slide, right, that I sometimes use, that is never not lipyate. So that is not getting involved. So then question remains like, okay, if this such a person is not getting anything from karma, then why he act? Right? There should be something, some motivation, right, for to act in this world. Otherwise, this becomes very dull, right? You are not getting anything, you are not interested in anything, you don't want the fruits of your activity, you don't want to enjoy. So then what? For what you are working? So he works for the Sangam Tattva Karoti. So he acts for the Supreme Lord with detachment. So anyway, you have to act, but this Karma Yogi, Nishkam Karma Yogi, he acts for the Lord. He does not act for himself. And what he gets by this, why he acts for purification. So I think purification we have discussed at some point. That purification is what, in simple words, anything that can be done for ourselves, We don't do for ourselves, we do it for Krishna. That is purifying the senses, purifying the mind, intelligence, everything. So such a karma yogi acts for the purification. By that, what he gets? He gets Shanti, supreme peace. So here Krishna says, a steadily devoted soul attains unadulterated peace. Because he's offering everything of his activities to me. So, this experience we have to do. Now, sometimes we have to try this very consciously. Very consciously, we have to give up our results and anything, any tendency to enjoy. That actually, sometimes we get that experience if we continuously try and do the bhakti part processes also, right? We get that experiences. So very consciously, if we try, we get this, that we purify and then we get Shanti then. That feeling is actually very good when you are not looking for anything for your actions. Consciously, if we do this, actually we feel peaceful because we are not in fear and we are not trying to control anything. And we are just be what we are and happy with that. So this Krishna tells like why this person acts, right? And then he takes the discussion further, right? In 13, 14 and 15. It tells like karma yogi, right? He remains, even once he get the peace, right? He's happy in this material body because there is no work created. No work created means no reactions are there, right? So he's not getting to mind. So in 14, this point comes, right? This person who does not create the action, like the person means who? The soul. He does not create any action in the body. It happens all by the material nature. And then he also tells in 15 that Supreme Lord does not assume anything what you are doing, right? Because that's happening all with the help of this mode. So everything is happening with the mode. So that is in the material world. But if you see the Supreme Lord, he is aloof from the material mode, right? And he's not in that mode. So for him, there is no like sinful or pious activity. And that is all in the material world. For him, it's only the bhakti part, right? But the soul, with this body, we get bewildered. That what actually we have to do. And this is how we get engaged, right? Entangled, not engaged, entangled in this. We forget what we are supposed to do and how. So, though we are part of the Supreme Lord, but we are in so much ignorance that we forget, and then we get attached or detached and desires so many things. Okay, so I think we can stop here today, but it's all the discussion about the Nishkam Karma Yoga that Krishna was doing in the 3rd chapter, and he's continuing that in the 4th also, and the 5th chapter also. He is taking the conversation now to a different level. He will go to soul and super soul level. So any comments or any questions or anything anybody would like to add into this? I went till 15 because it's in the flow of Karma Yoga, right? And how this person acts in this world, why he acts in the world, what he gets by acting in this world. So Krishna is trying to tell how Arjuna how you should act, right? You fight not for you, for divine. So you don't think that if you have knowledge, you don't have to fight. You have to fight. You work. So that is Krishna is trying to tell him, like, because he's asking whether I should stop or I should work. So he's saying, you work, don't stop, you work. So you are saying I will not fight, but Krishna is saying, no, you fight. That is what he's trying to tell him, right? That whatever state of consciousness you are, you have to do that activity. Okay. Thank you. I will stop here. So any comments or anything, please.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much. And the text 8 and 9, I would like to comment. The
Mhm.
divine person thinks like he's not doing anything.
Mhm.
Everything happening because he focus on Krishna.
Mhm.
So, but at the same time, I mean, my example, I say, if you watch TV while eating, if you watch TV, just food goes, we chew, just digest. We
Mhm.
focus on TV, we never think it's happening, just like that food going, but we get the energy.
Mhm.
So we are only aware of that only because we are focused on TV, but the divine conscious person is focused on Krishna.
Mhm.
I can understand in that way that how he is feeling, how opposite way I am feeling. But when we focus something and do with the consciousness, if we do something, we think we are the doer. So we worry about the result, will it happen good or bad? But when we watch the TV, we never bother whatever happens. Just we laugh or we we listen the news or something. It goes somewhere some accident or happen or something. We hear, oh, it happened like this.
Mhm.
If something happens to us, we feel.
Right.
Hmm.
But
Means bodily we are attached too much. I agree that. How we can change ourselves?
right. So it's not like something happened with us, then we get feeling. Sometimes, like there are some movies, right? Some emotion, emotional drama or family drama, some movies, right? There we see
Cry
uh,
comes. That is true.
people cry, right? Because we get so much involved in
That
that
is true. Cry
character,
comes.
right. So we feel those emotions, right?
Yes,
So
yes.
generally, when there is movies about this war or something, right? The soldiers or the movies about the sports, right? And then
Yes.
something bad is happening, then we also feel bad, right? So that is our tendency, right? We get
Maybe we have that impression in our body long back. When something happens, we are reacting without having awareness automatically. Maybe
no,
our
that is
past
one thing. Yeah,
data
that is
inside.
yes, that one impression may be one thing, but uh, one, the more thing is our nature because of our this covering of ignorance or whatever, right? Uh, we get engrossed in the character of the movie or something so much that we feel that I am that person, right? And I am
Mm.
experiencing that, and we start crying, right? So, though I am in this body, the movie is going on the screen or somewhere. I'm so my mind and intelligence is so covered that I forget that I am in this body and I'm watching. My consciousness goes into that movie and into that character, and I think that I'm that character, and I start feeling like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how our consciousness, right? Our mind takes us there, and we start feeling those emotions, and we start crying.
Actually, that is about the movie. When we watch news, often news it goes,
Mm,
we that is we that time we don't have that much involved. That's what I told. Some accident or something,
correct.
robbing, something happens. News means such a things only. Fact only happens, not like a
Mm,
movie. Movie is 2 hours. We sit. We too much involved in that character. I'm not
correct.
talking about the movie.
Yeah.
I mean, when we watch news, we have
Mm,
little intelligence. We may be using the intelligence, right?
mm.
The difference is that watching movie and watching the news.
Yeah.
I'm still same time eating only.
Yeah. So, yeah, your point is like if I'm watching the news and
Mm-hmm.
I understand, okay, it's happening with somebody, but if the
Yes, yes,
same, but if the same thing happens with me, then I am more
yes,
emotions, right?
yes.
Yeah. So, see the news, what we see actually is very short time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the mind or does not get that much time to get engrossed in there where the
Yes.
consciousness will go. So we are little bit alert, right? Okay,
Okay, okay.
but when it's a longer time, there is
Mm.
chances of getting involved, right? So that's why, right, we say the association we should choose very correctly, because if
Mm-mm.
our association is wrong and long, we are going to do something wrong, right?
Yes, correct.
So, but if you associate with sadhu for a short time, we are not going to do wrong thing, right? So same example of news, right? But even if that news, right, the impression of that news still remains in our mind, right?
Yes, yes.
Though we don't have emotion, but the impression is there. And then if somebody talks about that news 2 days afterwards, did you see that news? Then we recall, yes, 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 I saw that news. Yes, I
Ah.
remember.
It's some popular news means that is true.
Correct, correct. So that impression still goes into mind, but mind
Yes.
didn't get time to drive the consciousness there, right?
Ah.
But if we start discussing with our friends on that particular news for say 1 hour, then our consciousness will go into that
Yes.
and we'll get emotions. So the more the time we spend with such things
It's
that
waste.
take away our consciousness, that is risky actually.
Mhm.
That's the thing, right? So and that's how mind, and that will come in the 6th chapter, right? Dhyana Yoga, that how the mind takes us away, right? So
Mhm.
all this, but Karma Yogi, right? What Krishna is trying to say, like you should be conscious while doing all the activities. Otherwise, it's not possible, right? If you are carried away, if you are not conscious of what you are doing, then you are lost. You are going to create mistake.
Yeah, our consciousness, right now I'm feeling my consciousness is whether the result to be good or bad. With consciousness I'm doing, that's what I'm not thinking Krishna is acting behind.
Correct, correct. So that's
The
why
consciousness should be that everything happening by Krishna. That consciousness we have to act.
yeah.
Is it
So
like
that if consciousness gets covered, we are lost. That's the thing. So it's interesting to
come
see.
out?
Yeah, it's interesting to see this how it works for us in day-to-day life, right? Then, so if we every day 2 or 3 times in a day we take short break and just analyze what has happened in last couple of hours. It's very interesting, like how these modes drive us. Then we experience what Krishna is trying to tell us.
Mhm.
Mm.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Next class, I prepare properly and come. Sorry today.
No, no problem. No problem
I
at all.
read, but I
So,
forgot 2 weeks before I read. I'm
no,
sorry.
it's okay. No problem, Mataji. Don't say sorry. It's same for me also. That's why we had to discuss, right? Because I also get confused. Like if Arjuna gets confused, we will also get confused, right? Nothing new. So no problem.
Thank
Okay.
you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. So we also saw a historical moment for India today, right? So congratulations to India and to us. Thank you, Hare Krishna. We'll see you next week with the remaining verses of this chapter. Okay?
Thank you very, very much, Prabhuji. Thank you for the wonderful explanation. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.